Hello community, hope you are doing well. If you haven't subscribed this channel, please subscribe, like and share the video. I am Krishna and today we are diving deep into one of FastAPI's most fundamental features, which is a path parameter. If you have ever wondered how to capture dynamic values from URL in your FastAPI application, this video is for you. We will cover everything from basic syntax to advanced validation techniques with a penalty of hands-on examples. So grab your favorite code editor and let's get started. So let's create a first our project. Okay. So I am opening this folder in my Visual Studio Code and creating a project folder structure inside the app. There is a name that right. Okay. And let me create one of the file which is requirement.txt file, and one of file and another file is the original.md. First, let's understand what path parameters actually are. Imagine you are building an e-commerce API.
You might have URL like this. Okay,
The dynamic path is 123 mobile and March. These are the path parameters. They are placeholder in your URL that capture a dynamic value. In the FastAPI, path parameter make it incredibly easy to build a flexible REST API. Let's see how. Let's start with the simplest code. Here, how you define a path parameter in FastAPI. So from FastAPI import FastAPI. Creating instance and creating a get method. So we returning user ID and message to this API, and notice the curly braces around user ID in the path FastAPI automatically capture whenever value is in the position and pass it to our function parameter with the same name. Let's see in the browser. First run the project. Let's type here URL name users and 123. Okay, so here I forgot to add the forward slash. Let's add it and go to the browser. You can see it's written a 123 and message hello user 123. So as you can see, FastAPI capture any string value, but what if you want more control? That's where type hint come in. FastAPI super power is automatic validation using Python type hint. Watch this. Right now we haven't added any type in the function. If we add here or integer, right? So the parameter should be in the integer. Let's check. Here I am adding a 4. So it's written 1, 2, 3, 4 and anything. Okay. For example, if I'm writing here Weblearns, so see that FastAPI automatically converts valid string to integer, but return a detailed validation error for invalid input. No manual validation code needed. Okay, let's see a different type of method creating other endpoint here. Let's copy the previous one and change the name to active status is active status, right? It's a string. Let's create a float. Okay. Let's test this API. Here I'm adding for the product. For example, product name is laptop. You can see it's written a laptop. So likewise, you can test and it's written a particular response which is you return in the method according to the data type. Okay. And FastAPI supports all common Python types like a string, integer, float, boolean, even more complex types also. And next, see a multiple path parameters. Real world APIs often need a multiple path parameters. Here is the example how can you handle the multiple path parameters. Let's create another endpoint here. User ID or post underscore ID. User underscore post. User ID integer comma post underscore ID. Return user ID comma underscore ID post ID comma anything you can send. There is message post ID by user ID. Okay, let's test the API. Here is user we are giving in integer, so let's give 32 post and let's give to 90. Okay, it will return user ID is 32, post ID is 90, message is post 90 by user 32. Okay. The order of a parameter in your function signature doesn't matter. FastAPI matches them by name to the path variable. Okay. So next, let's see the path parameter with enum. Okay. So let's create one class over here. Class user role. Yeah. Enum. And also like enum import enum. Okay, admin equals to admin, user equal to user, and client equal to. So let's modify this API over here. Okay, not modify. Let's create another one endpoint here. Like you can give a user role and remove that, and here is the role. So not user ID. We are giving the data type is enum, not enum. Okay, you can give a like a user role. So role message is fetching all role dot value user. So let's remove that and we allow role r dot value user. Okay, so let's test this API user role admin. It's given a internal server error, so let me try it again. User role admin. Let's see what's in error. R is not defined. R dot value for R. Okay, sorry, it's my mistake. Let's refresh this URL. You can see here a role is admin, message is fetching all admin users, allowed role is admin, users and client. For example, here we are giving three role admin, user and client. If I am adding here another role, for example, it is say admin 1. So it should give me a error because the role is not available in our enum class. So you can see here we are getting the error. Okay. So perfect validation with zero effort. Like you can say with the FastAPI, with the FastAPI's validation. Okay. So next is advanced validation with the fast parameter. Let's see for even more control use fast function. Okay. So let's create another one endpoint and import a path from FastAPI, import a path. Let's create this integer here equals to path, thread operator, title equals to product ID, description, per unit, product. Okay. And more if you want to give any validation like greater than or less than, like min length, max length, regex, kind of things you can give here. So let's give here like min length. Let's give str only, and instead of id we set name and id name, and here is the product name. If you want to give a regex over here, you can also give a regex like content small a to z, capital A to Z, 029 underscore space and plus dollar. Now we have validation for range and string length and even register and also all documented automatically in your OpenAPI schema. So let's test a product laptop. So it's written the laptop. Okay. Next is a real world example. Let's see pull it all together with realistic e-commerce API example. Okay, so let's create another file. So here let's create a realistic e-commerce API example from. Okay, do one thing. Let's move this code into this and create over here from fast API. So all these we require like exception, fast API, everything. So let's test this one. First of all with this get API. So here we creating one enum class which is having electronics, clothing, books and homes, and we create a static DB with the variable product DB and creating the different groups. Okay, roots means and endpoint. Okay, let's take the endpoint first with the only forward slash. You can see we are getting the message welcome to our e-commerce API. So if you write here a forward slash and doc, it will be the whole list of API endpoints over here. So let's try it out from here. Let's add 1, 2 and execute. You can see here we are getting error product not found. Okay. So let's try with the name or ID 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try 1, execute. You can see here we are getting the response, name, category and price. Okay. So let's test likewise this one. From the category, let's select the book and product integer, let's say 1. You can see the product not in specified category, let's say 2. That is also same. Let's say 3. This is in the category a name, book and price. Okay. So likewise you can test your APIs. This gives us a robust API with automatic validation, error handling and beautiful documentation. Before we wrap up, here are the key best practice for fast API path parameters. Use type hints always. They provide automatic validation, generate a better documentation, make your code more readable. Another one is use meaningful names. Use descriptive parameter names. Follow REST conventions like user ID, not users, then curly bracket only ID. Okay. And another one is use enum for fixed value. Better validation than string, self documentation in API doc. And another and add a path function for a complex validation like set range, length, and pattern. Add description for better documentation and handle edge cases. Always validate a business logic and return a appropriate HTTP status code. The conclusion and that's fast API path parameter. We were covered a basic path parameter syntax, type hints, and automatic validation, multiple parameter, enum for constraint value, advanced validation with path, real world example. Path parameter are the foundation of best APIs in Fast API. And now you have all the tools to use them differently. If this helped you, smash that like button and subscribe more Fast API tutorials. Drop a comment with the if you have any doubt or question related to this video, you can comment in the comment section. See you in the next session. Thanks for watching the video.